The future may look bleak, but fear not, citizens. We're here with our Kickstarter Pickstarters for March 5th, 2018.
Our most high-profile Kickstarter pick this week is Batman Gotham City Chronicles from Monolith. This is the game that pits one player against one or more, the one player playing as Batman villains and the other players playing as Batman heroes as they attempt to thwart each other's plans in various ways. You're going to be, if you're a hero, moving across the board, spending cubes for actions, and then you also have a health system and a fatigue system, and you can get cards for equipment and upgrades, while the villain player is controlling multiple villains and has sort of like an Imperial Assault or Descent type of thing where they can activate different groups on their turn and move them around the board. This is a huge game with tons of minis. The core game actually comes in two different boxes,
right?
A hero box and a villain box. And then they also have many expansions available for purchase that include different locations. Like of course, you got Wayne Manor in there, the Bat Cave. I think there was like a Joker Land was one, and Arkham Asylum, of course. Big game. $140 is the asking price for the base set. I know this was on particularly your radar for one of your most anticipated for this year. So having seen the Kickstarter, what do you think? You think it's going to live up to those expectations?
I don't know. I need to look at it a bit more and just feel it out. I mean, Batman, once again, especially now, like there's so much, like it didn't occur to me until recently how many different Batman heroes there are that I think are actually interesting. Like it wasn't just like, yeah, he's got the Rogue Gallery. I don't think anyone's going to question he's got an interesting Rogue Gallery. But his hero side, he actually has more than just the 4 Robins. Like, there's a lot more people who are on there, even ones we haven't seen. One that I thought was, I don't think I saw a miniature for it. But I know in the comics, Clayface, who's a villain in this, he's also become a hero. He's
Who hasn't become a hero and or a villain?
But I mean, like, he's part of actually his closest circle.
Huh. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, in fact, this whole big thing now, which is one of the things I'd like them to do, 2 story arcs, because everyone loves Batman, you know, they make Batman ones. I would love to see maybe later on, is probably different scenarios, but one is the Metal storyline, Dark Metal, which is pretty much the evil Batman, because that would be, I think, a very interesting one. The other one is, it seems to be, I mean, it's just starting now, so it probably need to wait until they get through, but it seems they're doing a Batman Civil War. So the entire family's going to war. So maybe one where both sides control heroes.
Well, my guess is if you can imagine it, it will eventually be a stretch goal.
Yeah.
This game is well past funded. It's very successful.
I mean, it's Batman and minis.
With how much it costs, basically 10 people needed to back it, and it was funded. Yeah, I mean, I think they can. They have license to make this as big as they want because it's Batman. They have no fear of it being successful, which is kind of exciting, kind of intimidating. I hope that it is really good and is worth that asking price. Definitely curious about playing it. 2 boxes, man, 2 boxes. That's Batman Gotham City Chronicles.
Now, if you were to play it, who would you want to play as?
Hero-wise?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't really.
I'm curious though, if you'd be like, obviously you don't want to choose Batman, or would you actually want to go like one of the?
I wouldn't be like, oh, I must play as Batman, but I can't think of any others that I'm like. Like, I like the villains more than I like Batman.
I don't blame you. He has got good ones.
Like, maybe, I don't know, can I play as Alfred? Can I play as the, like, Bat Dog or Batmite? That's who I want.
You have to play as Bane. So the entire time he's like, I moved 2 spaces, Batman. In this next Kickstarter, PlayNation Studios has brought us Dreamcatcher. In this game, you'll be working together to stop nightmares from hurting the children and hoping to have good dreams by the time daybreak occurs. You'll be working together, as I said, and to gather the good dreams and collect dust in order to sort of collectively make sure they have a good night's sleep, while nightmares and the monsters under the bed are going to try and stop you. I love the artwork for this. It's very like cutesy pretty, and the nightmares, which still have that cutesy pretty thing. I don't know if you've looked at some of them.
I did.
They're actually pretty scary, some of them.
The artwork is very interesting because they have some very disturbing imagery, but it's like so adorably drawn that
and it's not actually like the bloody violent part.
Yeah, it's not gory,
which is interesting.
It's totally kid appropriate, but still like you're like, yeah, that is a nightmare. I looked at this as well, and it seems like a really fun co-op experience where you're like trying to match cards to get rid of the dreams. There's also this grid where things are moving around, so you have to be aware of that. It sounded like it had that good kind of co-op strategy feel to it.
Yeah, it reminded me of a lot of the co-op games, and one of the ones I think we enjoy a lot when it's like you have to sort of race and control the resources to go around. In addition, it seemed that there's different children boards in essence and beds that have different things. So this one might be doesn't need as much to win like the Good Dreams one. This one has a shorter nightmare track, so like I think that's also great too because it's pretty much a difficulty or requires you to maybe have different strategies for without too much effort of putting in like new rules and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So
so for $45 you get this really beautiful game. Cooperative, which is definitely, I think, a plus for sometimes because sometimes you just don't want to fight each other, especially if for younger audiences. I believe it's 12 and up was they suggested for this.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Sounds right.
But definitely give it a look.
Secret Unknown Stuff, Escape from Dulce from Sentient Cow Games is the next Kickstarter game. And this is a very weird one. It's sort of a sci-fi theme. It is cooperative. You're going to be taking on these weird different characters. This game definitely has a sense of humor about it. Many of the cards are tongue-in-cheek, almost Munchkin-esque perhaps in how strange they are, the types of items that you can find. You are going to be going throughout these different levels and choosing players to go into the next area. And when you go in, you're going to draw an encounter card. Enemies will appear with some flavor text, and you're going to go into combat with them. Also included in this board are physical 3D layered sections, similar to games like maybe Apocalypse Chaos that we used to know, where you're actually going to be moving up and down on these dimensions of this board, which is cool. And as you progress through the game, you're getting companions, including monsters like Bigfoot. There's what was it? There was some kind of a bat person, a bat boy. I forget what he was, but weird kind of like 50s sci-fi paranormal investigation type of things that are in there. And I think this is meant to be the launching point of like a series of games of this ilk. But it seemed kind of like a cool idea. Definitely weird artwork, weird sensibilities, a very unique kind of board setup. If that sounds good to you, it does go for $80. It comes with a whole bunch of stuff. Also those boards that I mentioned are fairly big. They're kind of big. So if you want to check out that kind of a thing, I thought it looked cool.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just because playing Fall and stuff, but I enjoy sometimes the old 50s references, especially to old movies or like Bat Boy, the old, like that.
Yeah, it's very much that. It's very weird. There's stuff where like you can find peanut butter, and the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch character, likes peanut butter. So if you give it to him, he'll like help you more. So really weird stuff like that.
Dice Settlers from NSKN Games is all about settling the board and rolling dice to either gain more resources or attack your opponents. In this game, you'll be getting dice from a dice bag, your own personal dice bag, rolling them, and whether to spend resources to get more dice or put some away or change faces will then allow you different abilities, such as placing little campsite tokens, which will be your settlements, attacking or removing your opponent's ones, getting more resources, or adding more dice to your bag. It sort of reminded me a lot of like the Dice Masters when you sort of are slowly increasing your pool by it's not really a dice engine, but more about adding to the bag. And so you have more possibilities and can get more stuff, which I thought was really cool and fun.
So kind of like a deck building game, but instead of a deck, you have a bag of dice.
Which I thought was cool, and lots of gathering little resources. It hits so many stretch goals, so you can get these really nice little miniature resources for collecting. It's for $50, so regular, probably big dice game. If that's up your alley, definitely go and take a look at it.
Palm Island from Portal Dragon. This is a really unique and interesting idea for a game. It is something that can be played solo with 2 players, or potentially more if you have more than one deck. But it is a game that they tout as a portable game that you can play anywhere, which I think is true because the way it works is you have a deck of 17 cards, and that is all that you use throughout the game. The cards have multiple things written on depending on which way they're oriented. you're only going to be interfacing at any one time with the top 2 cards of your deck. So you are never laying cards out in any kind of fashion. You're always going to be looking at them just from the perspective and this space taking up of one deck of cards. So if you have enough space for that, you can play it. And basically the way it works is they're going to be like generating currency in a way where you can use them. Depending on how you use them, you will rotate them and put them under your deck so a certain side is showing. And then you could use that as a resource, or eventually you'll want to have them rotated to give you victory points. And at the end of a certain number of rounds, you count up all your victory points from among the cards. I mean, this just sounds like such a cool idea, especially as a solo game for something you could just take out anywhere and just kill some time with that small space.
Sounds like the perfect game if you're stuck on a Palm Island.
Yeah, if you are stuck on a Palm Island,
also,
airplane.
I misheard you when you were saying like you can be used for solo, 2-player. I thought you said solo 2-players. I'm like so you're by yourself, but like with Winston?
Well,
Wilson.
Wilson. I don't know who this Winston guy is. I don't know what bootleg version of Castaway you watched. Yeah, but it also has a competitive mode and a cooperative mode for multiple players, which is also nice. But anyway, Palm Island, only $16. It's less than $1 per card. So check out Palm Island.
And from Munchkin Metropolis, we have not really a board game, but more of an accessory that I thought was really cool. There are these D20 carrying cases in different sizes. The first one I believe is $30, and then they can go more depending which ones you want or not. What's really cool is one I really like. The small one is actually you wear around your neck is about like this big, so you know when you go to your role-playing matches, you're just having this D20 around your neck, and you're like, I am here, and you just open with your personal dice.
Wait, it's a bag or a big
no,
D20?
It's like a
it's an actual D20.
No, it holds it's like a container.
Oh, it's shaped like a D20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not a bag. Or I guess depends how you define bag.
I don't know how you define bag.
But like there's one I think that can get like this big and stuff. So I think very fun if you have a lot of dice to use.
Okay.
It just seems like a very cute thing, and maybe even just put it on a shelf.
Hey, if we play those RPGs sometimes, and yeah, you need that little extra help. Those were our Kickstarter picks for the week of March 5th, 2018. Hope you found some that you liked. I know we did. We'll see you next time. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Will.
And this is Roll for Crit. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave your comments down below.
Before it's too late!